So I've been putting off making this video about this specific movie for a while, and it was something that I really want to talk about, and now I finally got around to do it. Today, I'll be reviewing Spider-Man No Way Home. Spider-Man and Batman are two of my most favorite superheroes of all time. I've already done a review for the Batman 2022 if you want to check it out. Look up on my channel, see if you can find it, and hopefully you enjoyed that video as well. But today we're going to be reviewing No Way Home. I was a bit skeptic when it got released. Kind of thought it was going to be some sort of nostalgia trip going on, and in the sense that it is, but it is so much more. Going into this film, watching it for the bazillionth time, it does start off a bit mediocre at best. I mean, but once it gets in the whole thing with Peter Parker going to Doctor Strange, saying that like, hey, this whole thing is ruining my friends' lives because Mysterio from the last movie revealed Peter Parker is Spider-Man. Doctor Strange is reluctant to help Peter Parker, but with Peter Parker being a bit immature, he asked billions of times to select who can forget who he's Spider-Man and who can still remember that he's Spider-Man, and that ruined the whole spell. And once that happened, a whole bunch of villains and possibly heroes that came from different universes from the multiverse. And you've got Doc Ock from Spider-Man 2, you got the Green Goblin from Spider-Man 1, Electro from The Amazing Spider-Man, and the other two, the Lizard and the Sandman from Amazing Spider-Man 1 and Spider-Man 3. Peter Parker tries to, fix these villains. They're trying to give them a second chance because he found out that most of them died fighting Spider-Man. Of course, it kind of doesn't go to plan with Green Goblin, which has been performed excellently by William Dafoe. And can I just say this? Why in the fuck is William Dafoe not the Joker? I mean, this guy is perfect as the Joker. I mean, it might be a bit too late now, but I think he will do that role justice. But for now, he's playing the Green Goblin, and he doesn't miss a beat, honestly. The first Spider-Man movie is probably my most favorite Spider-Man movie from the Sam Raimi era, and that's purely because of, the tone, the Green Goblin, and, just the whole vibe of that movie. And with the new movies, starting with Homecoming, it was decent, it was alright. But when Spider-Man Far From Home came out, I didn't like it as much. I thought they made Peter Parker a bit of an idiot, regarding him like, hey, I'm gonna give this guy the most powerful weapon to Mysterio, without even knowing what is to come. There might be some justification for that, but for me, I thought the movie kind of sucked, and I was kind of cautious with Spider-Man No Way Home that we're probably going to get the same thing, and luckily we didn't. And with the cases of Peter Parker being a bit, like I said before, a bit immature, a bit of an idiot, it seems kind of justified, and it's not to do with him being selfish or selfless or whatever you want to call him. It's all to do not to ruin his friends and family's lives. But all that can still lead to consequences when the Green Goblin kills Aunt May. And I had this weird theory going around where, the Spider-Man PS4 game, which came out in 2018, the end of Spider-Man No Way Home is a lead-in to the Spider-Man game, which doesn't make any sense because in the game, May is still alive. So I don't know why I had this conspiracy theory. It's just something that I thought of. And Peter was so close to just giving up and pushing this box which Doctor Strange housed the spell in. But the biggest surprise in this movie, which I'm sure a lot of people have seen coming, meets the other Spider-Man. And I saw a clip of the audience reactions from the theaters, and my god, it was like a nuclear bomb going off. The crowd just fucking erupted when Andrew Garfield and Tobey Maguire came out of the portal hole from Doctor Strange does that thing, and I can't help it, but I was very, very much grinning when that happened. Going back to the whole nostalgia thing, I think this is a case of nostalgia done right, because Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield don't just come in and say a couple one-liners, blah blah blah. They actually contribute to the matter at hand. They help Peter Parker make all these devices that will cure the villains. It's just kind of a bit of a, like a life lesson to Tom Holland's Spider-Man, that they've been through what Tom Holland's Spider-Man has already been through. And with the combination of the final boss battle with Green Goblin, and can I just say that the Green Goblin fights, I think they're the most personal and raw fights we have in this movie, and once again, William Dafoe, fucking amazing. For the most part, the rest of the cast is amazing. I mean, Tom Holland is, he's great. Zendaya is great. His friend Ned is good as well, although that's not my particular favourites. The guy who played the Dr. Octopus, Alfred Molina, he's very good as well. And the other villains and other characters like Electro, played by Jamie Foxx, I would say he's pretty decent as well, but I think he was kind of just, there. And the same goes for the Sandman and the Lizard, which the Lizard, he was just there, like, very mediocre. He doesn't really contribute to the movie much. He's just there to fight the Spider-Man, and that's really about it. Besides the heroes and the villains, other characters, there's not really a whole much to go into. I mean, Melissa Tomei, who plays May, pretty good as well. J. Jonah Jameson, played by J.K. Simmons, was a surprise when I saw him at the end of Far From Home. Him in this movie was pretty good as well, playing, the typical conspiracy theory news anchor guy who hates Spider-Man. Although that I do prefer him in the Sam Raimi Spider-Mans than this one, but overall pretty damn good. You got Benedict Cumberbatch playing Doctor Strange. I mean, he's pretty good as well. He's been one of my favourite characters in the MCU. Even when it's not his movie, in the Avengers, he still has his time to shine. So in this movie, there's nothing less going on there. He just does the role pretty damn good as usual. The one character which I don't like, and I find him extremely annoying, is the character Flash. Now, recently I watched the extended version of Spider-Man No Way Home. In my opinion, it is not worth your time. The scenes that they added in contribute nothing to the overall plot. They were just there to insert filler to make the movie longer. There is a extended scene where all three Spider-Men are just casually talking to each other about, what they could do with the powers and stuff like that, and the different universes who they fight. That was fine. But there's this other scene, the school where Peter Parker goes to has this news TV show in the school, and they had like this interview scene which completely sucked, and I was kind of cringing when the scene just dragged on, and the Flash character, he's like, the past two movies he's been bullying Peter, and then when he finds out that Peter Parker is Spider-Man, he's like, oh, we've been best friends for I don't know how long. I was the idea of of making the Spider-Man name. Please get the fuck off my screen. But bottom line, do not watch the extended version. It's not worth your time. And going into the ending of Spider-Man No Way Home, I think was a very emotional one, where Peter Parker asked Doctor Strange once the cracks of the multiverse came into fruition with all these enemies starting to come through. Peter Parker asked Doctor Strange, what if we could make the spell again, but forget who Peter Parker was. I wouldn't say it's the most heaviest emotional point I've ever seen in any other film, but it kind of got me, man. It really, really did. This movie made me realize that this whole trilogy of the Tom Holland Spider-Man has just been one big origin story for him to be, you know, the Spider-Man that a lot of people know. You know, he's living in a crappy apartment, like what he did in Spider-Man 2. You know, kind of down on his luck. But we haven't got that yet. But we've seen him make his own suit. It looks pretty good. It looks like a combination from past Spider-Man. And overall, this movie is, you know, it's not the greatest thing I've ever seen. But Batman 2022 is definitely the almost greatest thing I've ever seen. But this movie does enough to say that, man, what a great way to end the Tom Holland trilogy of movies. And I'm not sure if they're going to do a 4th installment. They might do, but if this is the final one, and this is kind of a justification with Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man and with Andrew Garfield's Spider-Man, this movie kind of, you know, justifies of like giving those Spider-Man a second chance, and they've succeeded in my opinion. So in terms of a rating, I would give it a strong 8 out of 10. And so that's my thoughts and opinions on this movie, guys. What you guys think about it, tell me in the comments down below, and I will see you guys later.